All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers. And my passion is helping people on their e commerce journey, helping them to get focused, get organized, get consistent, helping them to make the progress that they've always wanted to make in their e commerce business. And if that's you, I'm here for you. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling your free 20-minute coaching session. In addition to that, I like to help people get organized, as I said before. So you can grab the My Ecom Planner. It was created for sellers by sellers, and it's the ultimate e-commerce planner to help you to track your progress, to help you get focused, put together a game plan for the actions you're going to take every single day in your business. So you can grab the ecom planner at myecomplanner.com. Again, myecomplanner.com. And then last but not least, if you need some help, some support on this journey uh, of e-commerce for Q4, you can join Ecom Sellers Academy. It's terribly affordable. It's $17.99 a month. You'll get live weekly trainings, live weekly Q&As, gain access to our amazing group of Facebook group of e-commerce entrepreneurs. And in addition to that, we're going to be going through our Q4 boot camp in that group on Wednesday evenings starting in September. So I'm looking forward to that. So you can join and come along for the ride if you need some support this Q4. So with that being said, today we're going to be getting into shipping for Q4. It's not necessarily shipping hacks, it's just shipping understanding, really, more than likely, for those who need to think about this shipping thing, because shipping has definitely been a challenge and an issue for the last 2 years, seriously, with a lot of shipments coming off from China and just sitting on the docks, waiting for its way to make it through customs and to make its way to those who purchased the inventory in the first place. So, let's talk about shipping a little bit and let's talk about what you need to be thinking about for Q4. I'm live on Clubhouse. I'm also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group, so you can go there. So the first thing about shipping is you need to decide what is your approach or your plan or your strategy for shipping this Q4. Typically, that's probably something you should have decided before now, but you still have time to make that decision. Okay. So you need to decide whether or not you're going to be fulfilling the orders yourself, whether or not you're going to, what your method of e-commerce is going to be. If you've been drop shipping this whole time, then you're probably going to be working with your drop ship suppliers. If you've been doing print on demand, you're probably going to continue to work with your print on demand suppliers. If you're doing other methods of e-commerce where you're buying wholesale inventory or you're doing private label, white label, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, then you probably need to figure out what you want to do. If you're comfortable with handling the inventory yourself, that's fantastic. But if you think it's time for you to maybe transition and not handle the inventory as much, then this will be that window to do it. And vice versa. Maybe you've outsourced the shipping and you're like, okay, I'm going to bring it back in. And some people decide to do that. Maybe they're going to change their focus or their niche or take a different approach to shipping. So this was that window to kind of solidify what your process is going to be. And why I say this is that window is because typically major changes to your business, I always suggest that you allow at least 3 months for that major change to get settled in, to get perfected, to get ironed out. So that 3 month window gives you the end of July, the end of August, and the end of September to kind of iron out all the kinks before you go into the start of Q4. That's my recommendation. Some people will try to start new things or will start new things in September, and you haven't necessarily ironed out the kinks. I think that anything you're going to do, you need to be settled into it by Q4 instead of implementing something new or executing something new. So I think you need to decide, and then you need to put together your game plan for that transition, whatever that transition is. So let's talk about a couple of the different, methods of shipping and, how you might make some decisions along the way. So you're going to plan for this. I always encourage you to allow at least a total of 3 months for that plan to be solidified and or work through all the kinks. And that is the goal, always the goal. Okay. So the first month of that planning or when you execute is typically possibly part of the discovery phase. you might be uncovering or discovering or finalizing or approving or, budgeting for specific things. And then in that second month, you're executing whatever your transition is. So if that's now you've outsourced to a prep center or fulfillment center or whatever, you're working with them and getting comfortable with them, understanding how they do their business. And that third month is allowing relaxing a little bit more and allowing the process to work as planned, identifying any concerns, bringing those to the forefront so that everyone is aware of what your concerns, issues, or problems are. And know that during Q4, know that if you're going to outsource, that the volume goes up exponentially. So testing them in July, August, and September is a good start, but it may not be a full representation of the amount of volume that particular facility or service will be experiencing. The amount of volume is probably going to be 4 to 6 or 10 times what it is right now. But at least at that point, they've got you in their system and they have worked you into the game plan for Q4. So when you're rolling out to a new service or system in the middle of Q4, they haven't really fully worked you into the system. You're just kind of getting thrown in with everything else. And so they may have established customers that they've worked out things with for a long time. And you're getting thrown into the mix because of the fact that you really weren't there before they got into the crazy season. All right. So, what are a couple of the methods of shipping for Q4? Well, you can do seller fulfilled, also known as merchant fulfilled. If you do seller fulfilled, that's when you, the seller or the merchant, you manage all of the inventory. You store it, you prep it, you ship it, you handle all the customer service yourself. Okay. So some people have heard SF, others have heard MF, and that means seller fulfilled or merchant fulfilled. And so if you plan on continuing to handle that inventory yourself, I want you to think about starting now. Are there any adjustments you need to make to your process today that you want to fine tune and improve for the next couple of months? Do that. Okay, begin that process of thinking about it. And then, if you've got a dedicated amount of time that you're committed to handling the shipments yourself, you know that you're going to have to ship more frequently. So right now you might be, sending shipments off twice a week. Well, during Q4, it might be 4 times a week or 5 times a week. And what adjustments do you need to make to your schedule to be able to accommodate that? So keep those things in mind as you begin the planning process of preparing for Q4, because you're going to have to scale up or increase the frequency of some of your shipping. You also need to be thinking about your supplies. You should be thinking about them now rather than later. Don't wait until you're into Q4 to try to stock up on supplies. Get them now, especially with all of the different shortages in the supply chain. This is that window in which you need to make sure you have as much as you can of what you need, especially if you know what it is you plan on selling. So if you have an idea of the size of boxes or packages that you need, you should be placing those orders now as a seller fulfilled, merchant fulfilled, a person that's fulfilling the orders yourself. Okay. The next is a prep center. So you can decide that you're going to outsource to a prep center, and a prep center typically prepares your inventory. They will take the labels off. They will clean the inventory. If you're doing bundles, they will put your bundles together. They'll put any special requirements on the outside of your inventory if you're going to send it on to a fulfillment center. Like if you're doing Amazon FBA, you can work with the prep center to receive your inventory. Or if you want to ship it to your prep center yourself, you can decide to do that. And they will go through the process of preparing your inventory. Now, that's not to say that they won't ship it for you, because we're going to get into the other methods. But a prep center, just strictly prep, all they do is prepare your inventory for the most part. They may, put it into your special packaging. They may put your inserts in there. Like I said, they may group your pieces of inventory or whatever the case may be. So they will engage in a few different things for you. And you would want to start the process of looking at prep centers now if that's what you feel like you need. If you have a process for receiving your inventory, maybe you're a wholesale supplier, so you're receiving the inventory from your wholesale supplier. With most prep centers, you can actually have your inventory shipped directly from the wholesale supplier directly to your prep center, and they can handle it from there. So that's an option in most cases. There are some prep centers that don't prefer that, and you have to send it through them. And if there's anything specific that the prep center needs, then they will tell you what it is that they need. So right now is the window to start, vetting some prep centers or reviewing what your options are, and deciding if you feel like you need a prep center that will handle your inventory. And from there, meaning prepare it for shipment. Remove the labels, remove stickers, remove price tags, clean it up. If you're doing thrifting or if you're doing retail arbitrage or whatever, if you're receiving it from a wholesale supplier, maybe you're receiving it from a liquidation. And so liquidator. And so then, you may have some stuff that needs to be done to that inventory. They'll go through and do that work for you, and then they will send it on to your fulfillment center for you. Now, there are some prep centers that are a prep and fulfillment center. So we can talk about that. And if you are using a prep center and you want them to prepare all your inventory to send it on to Amazon for you, or send it to WFS, Walmart Fulfillment Services, or wherever you want it shipped, they can do that for you. And that's part of the thing that you want to make sure when you have that conversation, you go through that process and talk to them about what you want and what you envision for this Q4, what their capacity is. And always ask about pricing. Always. So fulfillment centers, there are centers that just do prep, and there are centers that do fulfillment, and there are centers that do prep and fulfillment. So typically, most fulfillment centers have some level of an integration. A customer orders something, they get a notification, however they get a notification, and they will pull the item off the shelf and they will package it up and send it to the customer. That's the shortest version of that. And so um, with the fulfillment center, again, that is an opportunity uh, for you to start looking at fulfillment centers if you feel like that's what you need. With fulfillment centers, a significant number of them have the integrations in place, which can make it much faster to get the product to your customer, whatever your customer is buying. Some of them will have dedicated teams to work on your account, depending on the volume that you'll be passing through, or size of your account, the revenue that they get from you, or the amount of work that they're required to do for you. Um, some fulfillment centers will also store your inventory for you. So you want to go through that process and ask the questions that you feel are relevant when it comes to the type of inventory that you're selling and the fulfillment centers that you're interested in. You also want to know the location of the fulfillment center. That could also impact, if we're talking US, that can also impact your taxes as well. So looking at fulfillment centers and what benefits, features, services they offer, and how that can help you achieve your Q4 goals, I'd encourage you to start looking at that. So you need to decide, is it going to be a prep center? Is it going to be a fulfillment center? Am I doing it myself? Now, 3PL is another form of a fulfillment center. Third-party logistics, where they'll handle the warehousing, fulfillment, and shipping support. Typically, there's some level of coordination to some extent with a 3PL, and they may or may not have a significant number of integrations in place, but it is another form. You will hear the reference of third-party logistics with those that are receiving inventory internationally and having it come into the US. And in some cases, that third-party logistics group will also help with the freight forwarding, so that way your inventory makes it to the right place or makes it to them so that they can fulfill the orders. So again, that is another service that if you feel like you need that based on where your inventory is coming from and going to, or based on the services you feel like you're going to need long term for your inventory, this may be the time in which you begin the process of putting that in place. So you'll hear fulfillment centers and 3PLs referenced somewhat interchangeably. Okay. And when you think of fulfillment centers, You can think of, in some cases, the Amazons of the world and the WFSs of the world, Walmart Fulfillment Services. Um, so Amazon, meaning FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. With that, when you think about them, Amazon does offer some prep services as well. So that's another thing that could be an option for you if you don't want to hire an external prep service. Now, you got to be aware of the fees. All of these businesses are going to charge you fees. Okay. And so you need to be prepared for that. And you also need to understand what their capacity is or their capability is of handling international shipments and what they can help coordinate for you. So with the 3PL, they may be able to coordinate more, whereas your basic fulfillment center may not have some of those. They may not have the capacity to be able to handle that, or maybe not the skill set. You also want to find out how long any of these services have been in place, meaning how many years they've been operating, so that gives you a good idea of what their experience is. The next is a freight forwarder, and a freight forwarder is a specialist that helps move your goods between two locations. So basically, when you're getting your inventory checked in through customs and getting it forwarded on to where you need it to be sent, they can help you with that. And again, a lot of the 3PLs will have connections with freight forwarders, or they may be freight forwarders themselves. So you want to do that research. If this doesn't apply to you, then this is irrelevant. If you have a way to receive your inventory, or maybe you're not ordering that much, that volume, or maybe your inventory is not that big, so you don't need that level of expertise and or service. But again, you have to decide back at the beginning, you have to decide what it is you're going to sell for Q4. If you haven't already ordered that inventory, that'll probably be the first thing you do, or acquire the inventory. And then the next is to figure out which one of these makes the most sense for you. Okay. Then the next thing is, once you've figured out, you've decided and you're beginning the process of planning, the next is to take action. Reach out to any of the services if you feel like you need a service. If you're going to do it yourself, start ordering your shipping supplies right now. Start setting up your workstation in your house or in your garage. Putting together your game plan so that you're not having to do a bunch of moving and a bunch of relocating of reorganizing your garage or your house or your office to be able to handle the amount of inventory that you'll potentially be pushing through your house. If you're going to outsource it to a prepper fulfillment center, placing those orders, finding out what level of coordination can be done for you, what integrations are available for you based on the platforms in which you're selling, and what the services are and what the rates are for the service, how long they've been in business, all of that. Beginning that process now so that you have an idea, because you may have an estimated budget of this is going to cost me X number of dollars, but you won't know that until you actually get started. Once you get started, then you have, like I said, those 3 months where you can start figuring out what the estimated cost is. Your first month may not be fully representative of what your numbers might be to scale. Second month may not either, but you'll see how well the processes are flowing, how well the integration is working or not working. You'll find all of your holes. If there are lots of holes in your business process, like, oh, okay, this provider really can't do this for me, or they can't handle this, or I have this awkward shaped item and I can ship it myself for this price, but why is it this price with them? So you'll start to uncover some of the challenges by month 2. And then by month 3, you'll definitely know where you potentially want to go with it. You can multiply the numbers and say, okay, in month 3, which would be September, I typically have XYZ in sales. So maybe you're pushing 1,000 units or 2,000 units in September, and that's your normal number, and you give them those numbers. But by October, it's typically around 6,000 units. Then you can take whatever your costs or expenses and multiply that to figure out what your estimated expense is going to be, and if this is still a viable and profitable solution for you, or whether or not you maybe have chosen the wrong service. So you'll have an opportunity to test out their customer service and what other benefits that they say that they offer before they get into the crazy season and you get into the crazy season. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it to make some decisions around what your shipping approach is going to be. I won't say 100% shipping strategy, but it may be more of a shipping strategy plan approach, your ideas around how you're going to get the product to the customer. Because your two income producing or income retaining activities are one, creating a listing so the product exists in the universe and so that somebody can find it and buy it, and two, getting the product to the customer. You got to get the product to the customer. So you need to make sure that you have an efficient shipping process in place as much as you can before you go into Q4. I encourage you to think about that now, not later. So, with that, I want to encourage you all, if you haven't already done so, to sign up for the eCom Q4 Summit. You can go to eCom, www.ecomq4summit.com to get registered. We're going to be helping sellers get ready for Q4. So you can go to www.ecomq4summit right now to get registered for the Q4 Summit and, you know, get prepared for Q4 to have a profitable, targeted, Q4. Share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about it. This is our daily ecom planning session. So we're planning on our shipping because there's shipping has to happen in order for us to make money, and it has to get to the customer so we can keep the money. So definitely go sign up for the ecom Q4 Summit right now. Let somebody else know about it. Share it out with a friend. And with that, we're going to go through our daily ecom planning checklist. So we're live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can download the daily ecom planning checklist directly in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You simply click on the files section, and then once you click on the files section, you can go download the daily, the weekly, and the monthly checklist. We're going through the weekly this Saturday, and we're going through the monthly this Sunday because we always go through the monthly the last Sunday of the month. So you can go and sign up you can come and hang out with us. We'll be live in Clubhouse and live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So we believe that there are at least, now this is not the entire list, okay? But there are at least 4 things that you should be doing before you go to bed and 5 things you should be doing the morning of in order for you to make the progress that you want to make in your e-commerce business. So the first one is to, on the checklist, the first one is to go through and assess your day, review your day, rate your day, look through your day. You built a schedule. Did you follow it? Were you able to keep up with it? Did you create an aggressive schedule? If you did, then that's a lesson learned for the next time that you're actually going through the planning session. So were you able to accomplish everything that you had on the agenda for Monday? If not, it's your opportunity to go back and figure that out. Then the next thing is to update your daily tracking stats. So what were your stats for Monday? How many listings did you create? How many shipments did you fulfill? How many sales did you have, or what were your sales? What was your profit? Did you create any ads? Were there any expenses? What was your mileage? All of the things that are important to know to be able to track your progress in your business and to determine if you're consistent. Sometimes we say we're working in our business, but we're really not working in our business because we haven't been creating any listings, or we haven't been shipping, or we haven't been going to go check on our listings, reworking our listings. And so this will give you an opportunity to do some basic activities that will guarantee that you are moving the needle forward in your business. You're being consistent and you're being intentional about working your business on a daily basis. So by tracking that information in your stats, and you can track that in the My Ecom Planner, you'll be able to better identify where you feel like, okay, this is when I set back. If I'm being real honest with myself, brutally honest, I'm not really working in my business every single day. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm not really doing the things that are going to actually help me to get to whatever that sales status is you're trying to get to, or your profit status is. So again, tracking your stats will help you with the reality check that you might need. Number 3 is to review your online calendar. Review your online calendar for your personal, for your business, and for your job if you have a job. Tomorrow should not be a surprise for you. So what's on the agenda for your online calendar? Do you have doctor's appointments, dentist appointments? Do you have family coming in from out of town? Are you supposed to have lunch with a friend? It's that whole, oh my God, is that time? And then you're rushing to go to stuff and you're pretty much reacting to your day. And we don't want to do that anymore. We want to increase our awareness of what's happening in our life and with our time and where we're investing our time. And you may find over time that you may not be investing your time in the right things that are going to actually help improve your life and or improve your business. So go through and look at your online calendar so that you can increase your awareness about what's going on tomorrow. And so you won't be surprised by it. Number four is to build your schedule for tomorrow. Go through and either build your schedule or build a checklist. Decide what you're going to be doing morning, afternoon, and evening. And that includes your entire day because God blesses us with 24 hours in the day. Of those, we are awake 16 to 18 of those hours. What are you doing with that time? How much of that time are you spending working in your business? How much of that time you're spending working in your job or doing other things? And are you engaging in activities that are actually serving you well? Serving you well mentally, serving you well physically, serving you well in your business. If they're not, then you probably want to start revisiting some of the things that you're doing. You may actually have some bad habits that you need to sort of work to get rid of. You can't just instantly get rid of bad habits. You have to work to get rid of them because they're always going to want to come back and come back with a vengeance. So you're working to build new habits, new routines, new consistency. And then one of the easiest and best ways, I won't say easiest, one of the best ways to do that is to build a daily schedule. So go through an account for where you're spending your day, maybe where you're wasting time. Go through and build a schedule of what you think feel like is ideal so that you can improve your productivity and improve your focus and improve your consistency. Those are the three things that you're working to improve. And you'll find over time that this will not just impact your business, it will impact your life. There may be things that you're doing in your personal life that has nothing to do with your business that you could be changing or improving. So build a schedule so that you can focus on your productivity and being consistent and being intentional about the things that you do in your business and in your personal life. You can build the schedule based off of time blocks where you indicate what you're going to be doing every single hour. And as a chunk or a general activity, you don't have to put the details of that activity. It could be just a couple of words as a reminder, like, oh, okay, at 11 o'clock, create listings, or at, 3 o'clock, send drop off shipments. So it could be very general, but at least you know what the action is that you're supposed to be engaging in. You don't have to do a paragraph for each one of them. If you don't like time blocks, some people kind of get spazzed out by knowing what to do every single hour. But with the fact that you're accounting for everything you're supposed to do every single hour. And I can tell you subconsciously, your subconscious mind is going to fight that initially, especially if you have some bad habits in place. So what you might do is start off with a more general, broad category of these are the things I need to do in the morning, these are the things I need to do in the afternoon, and these are the things I need to do in the evening. That may help you gradually get to a place where you can account for where you're wasting time or spending time. So build your schedule, include everything that is happening in your life. If you've got Bible study, if you get up and run every morning, if you do morning meditation, if you drop the kids off at camp, like include that time so that way you can redirect your energy and your focus when you find yourself straying away or getting sucked into the vortex of whatever, whether it's the vortex of social media, the vortex of YouTube, the vortex of Netflix, Hulu, whatever, talking to your neighbor about roses for 3 hours in the front yard, like whatever. So, whatever that happens to be, it will eventually help you to redirect where your energy should be so that you can start making progress on things. So, the next thing is the morning to this morning. There are 5 things that we recommend that you do. The first one, and this is regardless of your e-commerce method. We don't care if you do drop shipping, private label, white label, print on demand, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, thrifting, liquidations. We don't care. There's some basic stuff that you do as an entrepreneur and e-commerce seller. And this is all about helping you to focus on the things that are really going to impact your business in a positive way or impact your life in a positive way, long term, bigger picture. Initially, it will create some stress and your body won't like it, but a little stress is good for all of us. That's how bodybuilders build muscle. They put stress on the muscle. That's how track stars, they put stress on their muscles as well. So a little stress is good for everything because it helps to break down and rebuild
And your ultimate goal is, if your schedule that you're executing right now is not serving you well, your goal is to break it down and rebuild it. So that's what we're going to do. So, number one on the list is, in the morning, we're going to reassess yesterday. The reason we do that is we're looking for lessons learned, and we also want to document what's really happening. If you are a person that's trying to regain control of where your spending is going, if you're working with someone that's helping you, a coach, a financial planner, whatever, an accountant, a bookkeeper, they're going to tell you to start tracking everything because they need to know where the money is going. If you're working out with a personal trainer to try and lose weight, they're going to ask you to start tracking things so they can know where things are going, what's happening, what are you doing, what are you not doing, what are you eating, when are you sleeping, how much water are you drinking. Like, all of that stuff matters. And how much exercise are you getting? So they have a baseline as a starting point. And the same thing is with your schedule. You got to have a baseline of where you're starting from. If you don't have that, then it's going to be a little off. So we got to go back and reassess Monday. What did we not write down last night? Sometimes at the end of the day, you're tired, so you miss stuff. It's okay. So go through and reassess yesterday and fill in the holes, or fill in the blanks, or fill in the lessons learned. Number two, review your online priorities and review your weekly priorities and review your weekly habits. And we're going to add number three in with that, which is review your monthly checklist, your monthly plans. So the reason we do that is because this is the last full week of July. This is it. We're going into August. We have burned through more than half of the year already. So the last half of this year is going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be super fast. You're going to blink and it'll be Christmas, or you'll blink and it'll be New Year's, and you'll be like, what happened? There's something about the ball rolling down the hill that it picks up momentum as it gets towards the end. So since we are getting closer to the second, well, we're past the halfway mark of the second half of the year. Everything from this point forward is going to be like the ball rolling down the hill. The momentum is going to be super fast, and you're going to blink. And I promise you'll be like, I cannot believe it's New Year's. So, with that being said, since this is the last full week of July, what did you not think about? What did you not get done? What are the things that were on your agenda for the last full week of July? Where are you in those priorities for the week? Where are you in the priorities for the month? During our monthly planning, you established 20 to 25 goals that you wanted to accomplish in your business. Where are you on that list? Hopefully, you're more than halfway through it. If you're not more than halfway through it, you probably need to revisit your schedule for this week, and you need to make some adjustments accordingly. In addition to that, the same thing with your habits. Where are you on your weekly habit tracking? Are you actually executing the things that you planned on tracking every single week to build new habits, whatever those habits are? So go through and be honest with yourself and rate where you are. Only you know the truth. Only you know the truth. Number four is to rewrite, if necessary, your schedule that you built yesterday. After you assess step two and step three of this process, you may actually have to rebuild your schedule for today. And if you do, rebuild it. And then after you rebuild it, read it out and then speak it into existence. So you're ready to rock and roll. So you can start making progress towards those goals. So go through and rewrite your schedule. Figure out the main things so that if everything goes wrong for you today, what is the one thing you need to get done no matter what? And also think about all the other things that you need to accomplish outside of just your business. So we're going to read it, write it, speak it into existence, and we're going to execute the schedule so that anytime throughout the day we get distracted, we're going to come back to the schedule. The other thing is that when you write your schedule at night, your subconscious mind is thinking about it all night long. Then when you wake up in the morning and you read it again and you speak it out loud, it wakes up your subconscious mind to say, hey, buddy, to your conscious mind, says, hey, I'm getting ready to pass off the baton to you. I've been thinking about your schedule all night while you were sleeping because you read it, before you wrote it, before you went to bed. So now I need you to go execute it. And so your subconscious mind will kind of help you keep your conscious mind in alignment all day long. Every time you veer off to go do something else you're not supposed to be doing, or you're distracted by something, your subconscious mind will just kind of tap on your conscious mind and say, hey, right now you're supposed to be doing this. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm supposed to be doing this. So they become best buddies over time. But initially, they don't. They fight each other. It's like a war.
But in any case, that's what you need to be doing. You need to do your schedule at night and reread it out loud in the morning so you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. And that way, your conscious mind can take off like a sprinter, getting the baton passed to them and say, okay, let's go. Then, step 5 of this process is to go through and write your schedule for tomorrow. Whatever your schedule is, go ahead and write out a draft of it. That's all you're going to do. And you're not going to do much more than that. You don't spend a lot of time. Just write out what your schedule is, the actual action and activities you're going to engage in. Last but not least, we want you to think about the things that may come up in the future or the immediate future that are not emergencies that could disrupt this new routine that you're working to build every single day, that can break the pattern. At the beginning of every year, people establish New Year's resolutions. And what ends up happening is that those New Year's resolutions are easily broken because of the fact that the pattern gets broken somewhere in the middle. Kids are sick, so I'm not going to get up and go to the gym today. I'm going to stay home with little Billy. Well, that's the first break, and it's okay. That's justifiable. But then all the other times that you just kind of rationalize with yourself, and I'm not going to get up and go to the gym, is those are the patterns that got broken just by that one incident. So there's a reason why at the beginning of the year there's a bunch of people in the gym on January 1st and the first several weeks of January, but by March it's like a ghost town. It's the same thing that happens in your business. You're going to start off strong and you're going to be consistent for a period of time, and then there's going to be a pattern interrupt or a pattern break, and then you're going to fall off. And the goal is for you not to fall off. I don't want you to fall off. I want you to increase your awareness of those things and make adjustments to your schedule to incorporate whatever that is. So if you work your business from 9 until 1 and for some reason you have a doctor's appointment at 8:30, you can't move it any other time. You can't move it to after 1 o'clock. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make adjustments to your daily schedule so you still execute everything else that you're supposed to execute in your business, and you don't fall off the wagon. You just change the time in which you do it. That way you still get the things done and you stay on the path. So think about those things that can disrupt, interrupt, break the pattern in some kind of way, impact your momentum, because your goal is to sustain momentum on this journey. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it in your e-commerce journey. Please share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the daily e-com planning session. Let somebody else know about eCom Seller Summit, eCom Q4 Summit, not Seller Summit, the eCom Q4 Summit that's coming up. It is August the 1st through the 4th. Please go let somebody else know about it. Share it with a friend. Go register today. Sign up for the giveaways, but let someone else know about it. Invite them to come hang out with us. And with that, we're going to say goodbye for now. So I hope, my hope, my wish, my prayer for you is that you have an extremely focused, very successful, and highly profitable day. And with that, we're going to say goodbye for now. So have a blessed one. Go register at www.ecomq4summit.com. Bye.